Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Stretch the Sketch, which happens the third Sunday of every month. We take a sketch, and this month we are using this particular sketch, and we either shrink it down or we stretch it to be larger. The only rule is you can't make a 12 by 12. So I am starting with this paper from Echo Park, and I really wanted that newsprint background because the photos I'm doing is like an art project that my daughter and my son were involved in with 4-H. And I do want the background to be a little washed out, so I sprayed some white linen Dylusions spray all over it. I don't want full coverage. I want to still be able to see that it's newsprint. I just don't want it as bold. So this is my version of whitewashing it. And that was the branding strip off of the paper, if that's of interest to you. It is probably pretty old though, so my apologies if you can't get it any longer. I am using this Splotch stamp from Wild Whisper Designs, and I'm using it with some broken china. Oh my goodness, why did that? Sorry, tumbled glass. It wasn't broken china. It's tumbled glass distress ink, and I don't know why that just left my brain all of a sudden. And I am putting it in the areas just like the sketch is, only I am stretching it. I'm using a bunch of different circle stamps. In fact, this one is either from Stampin' Up or Close to My Heart. You're going to see them closer up at the end. I'm going to show you. But this one I'm using with some squeezed lemonade distress oxide ink. And then I am going to pull in some Bow Bunny stamps, and those I'm going to use with some green and some red. So I have this big larger circle in red, and I knew that the red was going to pop off the paper quite a bit more than the lighter blue and the yellow of the oxide inks. So I definitely wanted to make that one of the smaller stamps so it's not as vibrant or in your face. And then I'm using this kind of splotchy one out of the same Bow Bunny set, and I'm adding just a little bit more of that yellow distress oxide ink. And then this one is just some small green circles, and I tried it in the blue first, but it still doesn't kind of pop off the page, so I'm going to switch over to this grass colored one from Catherine Pooler. So it's called, I believe it's called Grass Skirt, and then the red one was Rockin' Red from Catherine Pooler. And right now everything looks kind of disjointed, but as you add more and more, it will come together and not look so disjointed. So if your mixed media is looking a little disjointed, keep going. Add more. So now I've pulled in this blue Catherine Pooler ink, and I believe this one's called Something Borrowed, and I'm just adding more of those circles, the sketchy circle line stamp, and that is from an Ink Road stamp set. So yeah, lots of different circular stamps. I'm trying to find them in different sizes to kind of bring everything together, because if they're all the same size, it doesn't look, I don't know, it just doesn't look quite as good to my eye. So trying to pull in multiple sizes here. Even if they're off by a smidge, it does help. So this is the circle I'm using from this Studio Light stamp set. I used all 3 stamps from this Bow Bunny stamp set. I used one circle from the Ink Road stamp set, and this circle from this Textures and Frames from Stampin' Up. And I'm going to use that one again. I'm going to add a little bit more blue in a larger size. And I think that actually is the one that kind of ties things together. That larger size really does help. So then I'm going to pull out my photos. I've got 6 4x6 photos. These are from my kids when they were young. Probably, I'm guessing my daughter's probably about 12 and my son's probably about 10. And here are the 3 inks: Something Borrowed, Grass Skirt, and Rockin' Red, and then Squeezed Lemonade and Tumbled Glass. I am going to do a little bit of splatter here, and I'm using the Distress Oxide ink in Mustard Seed, And then I will use tumbled glass as well. And I'm not adding a lot, I'm just adding a little in the areas where there is no stamping. So those are the two colors. And then I also added in a little bit of green. It is called cut grass, and it's the Dylusions shimmer spray. And since I'm not spraying it, I'm not getting a lot of shimmer, I'm just going with a little bit of green splatter. I am going to back my entire double page with a black outline. I want them to meet in the middle, so I took about 1/4 of an inch off of one of the two sides, and then I took 1/8 of an inch off of each, the top and the bottom, so that I have, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I took 1/4 of an inch off of the top so that it would give me 1/8 of an inch on the top and the bottom, and I took 1/8 of an inch off of the side, so I have 1/8 of an inch all the way around, and the center is going to meet up together. And then I'm just setting a pile of papers, and I had all these like die cuts here, sitting here, just setting those on top of it just to kind of let everything dry, and hope that it dries nice and flat, because I did spray all of that paper with the white ink. It did warp just a bit, and so I wanted to get it back to as flat as possible, and that definitely helped. So here I'm just adding a little bit of ATG to hold down the photos where I cut it down the center. And then I went online and I just looked up a paintbrush SVG. I found this paintbrush and this paint palette, and I decided to go ahead and use those. I cut them on my silhouette, and I just cut them in black so that it leaves a nice bold area for my embellishments. And then I decided to paint the tip of the paintbrush yellow, and then the paint palette's going to have a yellow, green, blue, and red. And I am just using Dylusions Paint to do that. And these are old. I don't even think they make them in these circular tubs anymore. I think they are in a squeeze bottle. So the yellow one is lemon zest. The red one is post box red, I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, post box red. The blue one is London blue, and the green one I believe is fresh lime. And then I sprayed a little bit of water on the top of each of them because I don't use them frequently and I don't want them to dry out, and so that just keeps a little bit of moisture in there. I am adding some thickers, and it's going to say Puppet Theater. Actually, my entire title is going to say Let's Build a Puppet Theater. But I thought it would be a little bit overkill to use all thickers, or at least all of this color of thicker, to create that entire long title. So I went to my Dina Wakley Media Stamps. This particular stamp set is called Block Alphas, and I'll put links to these products down below. I don't know if you can still get it any longer or not. They were made in 2020, so it seems like you should be able to get them. But they stamp really well. And I'm just using some Ranger archival ink to stamp them in black on my some white scrap paper. I wanted to use the black and white because I've got the black and the white in the background, and I've got black matting for everything, like the entire layout and all of the photos have black mats around them. And so I felt like if I added a color, it would, I don't know, just maybe not be as readable and as bold. So by doing it in the black, it keeps it really bold. And I'm going to cut those out, and I'm going to tuck them in right above where it says Puppet Theater. And I think it looks really, really good because it's very readable since, like I said, they're really bold. Now you could stamp these on a colored piece of cardstock, and so your letter would be colored, and then the outline would be black. That would work as well. But I felt like this was a good fit for this layout because everything is kind of like hand done. What they are doing in the photos is they were in the puppet project at 4-H, and they built their own puppet theater and made their own puppets, and then they would perform. and they won several awards at our county level, and then they actually went to the state level and competed, and they won some awards there as well. But it was really cool to see them put together the whole puppet theater. The center bottom photo is actually the backdrop that they were painting to be the backdrop of the theater, and then you kind of see the theater on the top right and left. It's all white with some letters on it, and I think the letters were like hand cut, and then so they had to paint the whole theater and paint the title, or the yeah, I guess it's the title on the top of it. So it's all stuff that they were working on to get ready for their performance and to put everything together. So I am just using my ATG gun to adhere these down in case I need to move them. I didn't want to go with the Nuvo glue just in case things didn't work out as I had planned, basically, and if I got the spacing wrong. This just allows me to peel them off and move them. And I did have to peel a couple of them because I didn't get them lined up quite right. Although if I had used the liquid adhesive, I could have slid them around just a little bit before they got set, because I didn't have to move things that much. So, and then because the words puppet theater are on the photos, they seem to be holding really well. Otherwise, I would put some glue behind them. But if I tried to put them just on paper, they don't stick as well. But since you have that kind of glossy sheen of the photos, they do seem to stick okay. And I'm going to hope that they stay. I'll give it a little bit of time. If they start popping off, then I'll have to add a little bit of glue to hold them. So I liked this piece that said YOLO on it. I don't really care about the part that says YOLO, but the green is the right color of green. So I just cut a piece of white cardstock and stuck it right over it so it has a green outline. And I just need some space for a little bit of journaling, and so I am kind of going through this green bin. I'm going to go through a yellow bin and a blue bin and pull out some pieces that I think would work really well. I'm kind of staying away from red since red is super bold. I think the other three colors work better for this particular layout. My yellow was a little bit too yellow, and on top of the black it looked more kind of greenish. And so I brought in a little bit of orange to mix it and darken it up just a little bit, and to match the yellow of that tag and the label pieces. It also matches the sweatshirt of the person who is sitting next to that yellow paintbrush. And so I thought that worked really well and looked a lot better than the yellow that I had on there. So I'm just layering up some labels and the tag in the upper right hand corner, and that is pretty much going to be all of my embellishments. I did play around with adding a couple of other little things. I cut it out because it really just didn't work at all, and it was very hard to see because they were little tiny like crayon marker things, crayons from Jolie's, but they were super tiny and you couldn't even see them on the screen. And for this size of a layout, it just didn't work. And so I just ditched that really quickly, and I cut it out because there wasn't much really for you guys to see anyway. But I did want to make a note of it so that you know things don't always go 100%, you know, the first time around for me either. So added a little bit of black and white baker's twine to that tag, and that is it, you guys. Close-ups are coming up. Don't forget to check out all of the other people playing along with today's sketch over on Stretch the Sketch. We do have a Facebook group. You can go and check that out in case you want to play along. Actually, it's a Facebook page. And you can check out all of the links for the people who are participating in this month's Stretch the Sketch and see what they've got for you down below. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate the time that you're spending with me today. I will see you guys again very soon with another video. Bye-bye.